What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Terrence Gibson. Let me turn my camera on so you can see me. Hey, what I have in store for you is an awesome Zoom call between Peter Jensen, our upline, and also vice president, and the owner, CEO of the company of MyResClub, to talking about this awesome opportunity we had once again, up to 50% cash back on whatever trip that you take, and you can invest in real estate. Real estate, people. You cannot just walk up to these guys in the street and ask to invest in this. You have to be in the company. Well, actually, you can. You can just walk up to them, ask for the link, they let you join, and then you can go ahead and invest. But why not just cut out all that and just go ahead and join after you watch this video? Because it's going to be awesome and you're going to enjoy. All right, without further ado, it's about 50 minutes long, so I'm gonna go ahead and just let you guys dive in. I'm gonna turn my camera off.
Hey everybody, good evening. Welcome to the ResClub Investors Call. You're PJ Jensen here. We're going to get started shortly. Just waiting for Craig, our founder and CEO, to jump on the line. Wow, I knew this was going to be an exciting phone call because we're doing something that's never been done in network marketing before, and this is an investors call. So we'll talk as little about the MLM opportunity. That's the direct marketing arm for ResClub, MyResClub, and it's just amazing what's going on here. You're going to be blown away by what Craig's going to share with us tonight. Lowering the threshold for investment from $5,000 to $1,000. It's already up on the ResClub website. It's in your back office at MyResClub when you so you will be able to get involved with our company for as little for $1,000, and so that's a Costa Rica property that's near and dear to Craig's near and dear to Craig's heart. And so a couple of house cleaning issues real quick. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we'll have a leadership call. I'll send out the information for MyResClub. With the MyResClub team, we will have a leadership call at 1 o'clock. You're going to be extremely blown away by what you're going to see and hear. It's going to cover a gauntlet of different things, a marketing system that's coming out that's available on Thursday, as well as compensation plan overview tomorrow. So make time. It's 11 o'clock. I'm sorry, 1 o'clock tomorrow Eastern Standard Time, and that will be on this very same Zoom link. Craig just joined the line, so I'm going to wait for him to get settled in. Craig, where are you, buddy? I see Mark. Hey, Mark McCall. How you doing, brother? Craig, where are you? I can't see you. Craig Williamson. Craig, I'm going to unmute you, and then you can just let me know to say something once I mute you. All right, Craig. Craig, can you unmute yourself? Craig.
There we go.
All right, hey buddy, how are you?
Good.
Well, you've officially broken the record for most attendees on our call. I knew you were going to be the highlight tonight because people, Craig, are excited about our investment opportunity here at ResClub, and obviously this is a record call already. You know, we're just in our infancy, less than 30 days old in terms of the build out. But there is something that's going on that's magical about our company, that's magical about what you put together. And, when I say people are excited about the investor part, about what we're doing here, that's an understatement. And the blockbuster announcement that we leaked out to people that have access to us on our marketing side with our marketing company, MyResClub, heard already that the threshold for investment now into ResClub is lowered, and you're like 4 months ahead of schedule, from $5,000 to $1,000 now, effective right now. You can do it right now. I'm actually filling out my subscription tonight. I'll be there's already somebody in at 1,000. I'll be the second one in that Costa Rica property. But ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't had a chance to meet Craig Williamson, he's the founder, CEO, visionary of ResClub and MyResClub. But I'm going to just give it. Let's just give it up to him because he's the star of the show. Craig, got a full house. It's getting bigger. They'll be popping on it as you go. But there's some big things happening here.
Yeah. Well, where did we start? We started with, Residence Clubs International, and ResClub started with, the barrier of entry getting into investments at $50,000. And we went to work on that, 3 years ago and got that down to 5,000 last year. We continue to, commit the resources and do the work, and got ourselves in a position now where our platform can do both Reg D and Reg A. We hope to expand it. There's a couple others out there that we're looking at too, but this has allowed us now quite a bit early. Part of this was because they had this is a for-profit and non-profit partnership deal, and those are typically looked for, relatively favorably. So because of the good that's going to come from this kind of conscious capitalism type of deal. So we had a small one there that, this particular deal is near and dear to me. That's why I floated it out there to try to get an early start on this lower threshold, this $1,000 investment instead of $5. It's a really simple deal. It's the foundation, needs a building, and the town that it serves right now for feeding those kids needs to have the first hotel ever built in that town, 170 years old. It's literally closed because it ran out of gas during COVID, and it is in the center of town next to the main church, Center Church in the Center Park. And I found out about it, and we met with the city, and it's on a street called Calle Real, which is the historic city of the town. We met with Red Cross. They also needed office space, just as our organization needed office space. So what's happening here is that, and we're going to do more of this. This sets itself up as an absolute perfect tourist center to come in and stay for a week. So it's a perfect vacation rental property in the kind of the most quaint town and city and capital of Guanacaste, which is the tourism capital of Costa Rica. It is truly a traditional city with the traditional fiestas and keeping the traditions that it's had for years. I have a home there. Look, I'll tell you a story. When I first moved to Costa Rica, 15 years ago, they saw that I moved into a neighborhood that was mostly Costa Ricans and Ticos, as they like to be called. And I was working like I do, coming home late at night, leaving early in the morning, and the neighbors who I didn't even know, saw me coming and going. And it wasn't 3 or 4 days into the first week that I lived there that I didn't start finding pots of warm rice and beans and chicken, sitting with a napkin over it on my doorstep. And it was literally the neighbors who saw how much I was working and wanted to make sure I was eating. That's the kind of people that you have in a place like Costa Rica, and especially in Liberia. So our foundation is located there. This is a hotel that's 170 years old. They actually brought tile back from a castle in Spain, laid it in 150 years ago. It's still there. We're going to go in and rehabilitate this to where it's restored to its grandeur. There are stories and photos and things all through this building of all of the weddings and the family events and the birthdays, and everybody you talk to in that town that's found out what we're doing, came to meet with me last time I was there, talking about how wonderful it would be to restore this place. So that's not the only reason. There's 2 front offices that are right out on the Calle Real, very easy for people to find, so that we can support the Red Cross, provide them with office space, and then shared office space with our charitable organization there. That right now we're up to 2,550 kids being fed. We hope to get that to 10,000 by early next year. So it's a great deal. What's going to happen here is MyResClub is going to purchase the building. We have a contract on it. We're going to bring in the Green Building Council and Earth University to figure out how to marry, new building automation and technology and solar and all of those things to make it comfortable inside, but at the same time restore the building using all of the materials that was originally used to build it, because it is a historic structure, and you are forced to do that. They're gonna marry those together. We're gonna restore that grand center, sala, as they call it, where all the events were held. We're gonna bring back in our local restaurateur and have the Liberia cuisine, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're taking the 16 rooms and we're gonna combine them into 8 condos, and we're gonna sell those condos. Well, we're gonna keep 2 of them. We're gonna sell those condos to vacation rental property buyers, just like we have. So it's going to be a very quick deal. We're going to buy it, we're going to restore it in about 9 to 10 months, have it all set up, ready to go, and then the foundation is going to purchase the building at the cost plus the renovations. We're not going to mark it up and make a big profit on it. We're just going to make just enough to cover everybody's that 20%. Again, that 20% equity that we raised through some things like this. We're going to increase the price just enough so the foundation purchase price covers all of that. As a company, we don't intend to profit from this. We see this as doing well while doing good. So,
right, so if I just hit the screen by mistake, so the offering's up. You can access it through your MyResClub back office, so you can go to resclub.com. And so the hard cap is 1.8 million, and this is up live, and it's $1,000 minimum investment to get in. The other investments are 5,000. I think they're going to follow suit shortly. There's no time frame on it. You're going to do them one by one. But I think that the significance though of what people for the first time hearing and seeing it, that with the pathway you've created with the 199 and then level 1 being 199 to 5,000, an L1 investor into ResClub, level 2 being 5,000 to 50,000. You've really forced the mindset and actually opened up the spigot, so to speak, for people. Here's a 5,000 market to get in, right? And all of a sudden you open it to 1,000, and more people can get in on this ground floor opportunity. So this is significant not only for what we're doing overall for the ResClub and the umbrella of MyResClub, but for the mindset of the investor. And one of the things that we've been asked to do really early on by some of our leaders, that they've asked us to separate church from state, Craig, from keep the investment side away from the network side. And it's hard to do that because they do intertwine, because our network side, the people that are creating cash flow by design through the travel program to invest in the real estate, it's really hard not to combine them. However, this phone call is designed specifically to address investment questions, and more importantly, Craig, we want to hear from you about the things that we're doing now. So if you look at this is live, it's on resclub.com. You would simply go here, you click on it, and you become, you go through and create here's the aerial shot you were talking about. You go through this, and let's explain what they're looking at. This is the
so if you go into the photos, if you just scroll down and go into there's images that you can go as well. So
before I do that, I think this is really important. What are we looking at right here? Because this is the actual crowdfunding engine. This is the core of what we're doing. This is right. the brainchild.
You're on invest.resclub.com. This was built by a company called Crowd Engine. They're the same company that uses the same software that Grant Cardone used for Cardone Capital. He's raised 800 million through it. We worked really hard to get ourselves in a position where we could bring on that same software and build it literally within our site. So we own this subdomain. We own all that platform. We own the properties underneath it. That's what God gives us the ability. Gives us the ability to do anything we need to do. We're completely vertically integrated.
Well, let me ask you a question, because that leads into one of the questions that I'm always asked. How is ResClub able to pay the 5% referral fee on anyone that's referred to? I see Mark shaking his head. Yes. How are they able to pay anyone pay anyone you want as far as a referral fee as an investor into ResClub? And this is a big answer, because you got the big man on the phone. He's gonna give it to you pretty when you own everything. It's easy to do, right?
this is not being put out there to the broker dealer network and sold to third party. This is, we own the platform, we own the property. This is a closely held transaction. I can sell to anybody that I want. And if we stay up, well, the one thing I would advocate for is that, just as Grant Cardone does, when people are referring people into the system, refer to them to the overall program. You can talk about the deals in the program, but don't get into the nuts and bolts and investment returns and all those things, other than what's public. Anything that's public, anything that we've written down here public can be talked about. But we are able to pay a marketing referral fee to anybody who feeds customers into our system, because we own the system and we own the property. We're not using a third party to do it. Now, that being said, if we decide, and we've been asked by a lot of big groups to white label, our system, our platform, and put their property on it, they go by a different set of rules, because they're now utilizing a third-party platform. Somebody else owns it to solicit and sell securities. That's a different answer than if we own both of them and we're selling as a closely held transaction. So big difference. We've actually, CrowdEngine actually added, and the same thing they did with Grant Cardone. They added the line at the bottom of the registration page that says referred by, right? So if you go to the pictures, you'll actually see. So understand, this is the greatest little town, right? It's the capital of Guanacaste. Guanacaste is where you have Four Seasons, where you have Ondas, where you have the Ritz going in, where you have One and Only, Steve Case's project. You have all of the big players, Marriott, Westin, everybody's there. And Liberia is the capital of that province. And it also has the newest airport and the largest airport in Costa Rica. So it's a brand new international airport, massive place. And it is literally taking over. They're calling it the next Cancun. They're literally, but it's a much nicer place to go to. If you've ever been to Cancun, you know what I mean. But in the pictures said it all, right? I purposely wanted to show off Liberia, the way that they still have the traditional fiestas. They still are a very traditional city. The way that they the way that they build the town around the church and the big park. Their love of animals and horses and the way they treat them. It's not allowed to have a zoo unless it's an open air zoo. You can't put animals in cages there. You can't have a circus and have circus animals. They don't have horse racing. All of the things that are near and dear to me about Costa Rica are found in Liberia. If you click on the bottom left photo,
this one,
yeah, that is literally the center of the town, the church, and you've got, spread out from this thing, you've got this Guanacaste province that has about 1,100 public schools. And what we're doing, we're starting inside of Liberia. There's about 78 public schools there, and those are the ones that we're spotlighting, which is why we're locating in Liberia, locating our office in Liberia. But that's the main church in the middle of town. Not crammed with traffic. That's sometimes during the day it might be, but and just a great little location. It is literally 20 to 25 minutes from the greatest beaches in Guanacaste. It is 30 minutes from the greatest, hot mud springs and zip line tours and mountain views and all of that, horseback riding. This is horse country. So you see the tope horse there that's prancing along. They have thousands of them come into that town during the fiestas. This here is 20 minutes away. This is literally where my office at Four Seasons was. If you look at one of those buildings out there on the hillside, that was one of my offices. This is the Four Seasons on Peninsula Papagayo that you're looking at right here.
Yeah, what's great, Craig, is all the stories that you're telling us and the pictures you're showing us, that means that these are high rental, what we refer to as ADRs, average daily rate for the return on investment on the property that we're investing in, which is huge. And
Very
so,
high.
yeah, if anyone does any research on the bot model at ResClub, you try to put them in, you know, high populated, high visited, you know, high touristy places to purchase the vacation resorts or properties so that we can be owners and get that huge return on investment as you rent them out. I want to use your time wisely. So I want to like when Stone looks at 18% return. And so let's talk, what does that mean?
18% return is an annualized return. This is a 1-year debt instrument, as all our short-term high yield investments are. The way that we structure these and the way that we can pay that kind of return is that you're going to quickly see, for instance, this deal. This is $1.8 million total. You're going to see very quickly that 65%, closer to 70% of that is going to come red very quickly because we already have our debt. So we've got 68% debt on this already at 6%. So we don't need, but we put 10% of our own, or in this case, 12% of our own equity in, which leaves us with a bridge or a gap funding need of about 20%. Typically in the development business or in the acquisition business of resorts, you fill that gap, that 20%, by going to a high yield lender where they just scalp you. They charge you 18 to 22%. You only need the money for a year. You only need 20% of your total. So no one seemed to have minded that for years and years and years. But what happened with crowd funding coming along, we were able now to democratize because of the automation that's involved here. All the reporting and compliance and all of that is done within the system. Now, whether I bring in, $100,000 investor or when I bring in $101,000 investors, it's the same. It's the same amount of work for a company and labor and at much reduced cost because it's all done to this platform. Look, I was in syndication 25 years ago. That doing what this platform done, I'd have 150 people. So what we've been able to do is take that 20%. That's the only part that we really put into for high yield, because what happens is you've got 20% at 18%. So that's my debt cost on that 20%. But my debt cost on the 70% is about 6%. And then we put the other 10% of equity ourselves. So there's no cost on that. So that means if you blend that 20% and that 70% at those interest rates, you're going to really blend it at about 8 or 9%. And then after a year, that 18% drops off. And you factor that into the cost of the development or the cost of the purchase, just as you would if you used a bridge lender. All we're doing is democratizing the piece that normally one of the big guys would get by putting up $2 or $3 million.
That's the piece that you kind of, when we spent some time in Orlando this weekend, that's the piece that you talk about, that's where the motivation for the creation of the pathway for the average person to get in. And the reason, gosh, man, 4 weeks ago when we launched it was 5,000, and I'm an investor in one of the UK properties. You have several other people. There's $50,000 investor in the ResClub in Orlando. There's two of us in the UK property, myself and the Brunels, and then there's another Tamara's in the Costa Rica, one of the other Costa Rica properties. Well, you can imagine what's going on right now. People are like getting text messages right now. I'm investing $1,000 because they want to get a piece of the pie. And so this is just really and then there's our goal, I think, by the end of the year. But like I said, you're 4 months early on this, is to take it down to 500.
I'm hoping to. What we're doing is we run this at 1,000. We've got a couple of new deals that are coming that may be good next step for that $1,000 to get approval on, and then we'll look at how it runs. If it runs fine, and we're not seeing any kind of spike in our costs or any issues. I mean, look, Grant Cardone's taken much lower investments than that. And he's got, hundreds of thousands of investors. We're not worried about the robustness of this software handling whatever it is, but that doesn't mean you don't belt and suspender and take baby steps and do all the things you do at securities and it's real estate purchasing. So we are taking the time to write it out. I thought it would be Honestly, up till about a week ago, PGA, we're not gonna have any of those deals into this thing until December. But this particular deal lends itself to going ahead and making that try. And it's a very simple in and out kind of a deal. The investors are out of it. We're not selling a bunch of homes and inventory in this. It's just one project, one buyer, and we are the buyers. The foundation is the buyer. So we control literally every facet of this deal. It's the perfect one. Plus, look, I mean, it's also a good way for people to do good. I think some of the people I talked to at the event really loved the fact that we were, actually putting boots on the ground and doing things for these kids who don't have any food.
Sure.
This for us puts a flag in the ground. This for us says, here we are. This is it. As a matter of fact, we came in and did your oldest building and renovated it for you. And now, as I was saying, when we point out that all the local businesses who are not helping, this actually accentuates that. The foundation came in.
Yeah, so Craig, I want to ask some of the hard questions, because I remember when we first met, you're one of the things you said to me that really caught my attention was that you want everyone to be skeptical, as they should when they're investing. One of the things that's most impressive to people that do the due diligence on you, on Alfie Best, who we all know he's the billionaire out of the UK, but it is the documentation that's on the website that's readily available, that shows that we're SEC compliant, shows that you've done the due diligence, hired the right firms, dotted the I's, crossed the T's. Where can people see that, and how proud are you that you're able to really pioneer and be the first to actually marry the ability to do what we're doing?
Well, I think that one of the things you can look at is in the document list in here, you'll see the commitment that Alfie Best has made. And it's very easy to go online and search him. You can, I was going to upload, I just didn't have time, and I talked with Crowd Engine about getting his video on to some of these deals. Look, that's a billionaire. He doesn't go send you a video welcoming you as an investor or as a member of MyResClub or ResClub if he's not completely engaged with it. So, he has done it both with financially, and he's done it both with support. And now look, he's going to be powering the launch or his Wildcrest marketing team are going to be powering the launch in the UK. So you can see it there. You can look through the PPM and the disclosure. All of this is these Reg D 506 here completely based upon a PPM and a subscription agreement. So look through the subscription agreement we have. Nation Yeager, the law firm here in Palm Beach, have had them, craft our. I don't know if I lost everybody or.
No, you're here. I just switched screens. I'm just
okay.
Looking for.
So we had them craft our subscription agreements. We have a boilerplate PPM that fits for what we're trying to do. These are all debt instruments. We're not doing equity and selling shares and something that people have to hang on, or warrants that have to hang on for years and years and years. They're in and out of these very quickly. We will eventually do some deals where people can stay in them for a long time if they want. We're working on some with some hotel groups, Marriott included. But for these, everybody loves these investments. These are 1 year long, high yield quarterly payments into your bank account by wire transfer, and then all run automated through this system.
Right. Okay, I want to switch gears on you. This property I'm looking at right here, I pulled up. This is MyResClub Villas in Orlando. We were just up there this past weekend, where we had just shy of 50 people. That we have what's called the red carpet, VIP red carpet, where you actually come into Orlando. We meet the night before, and then the next event is the next open tour. Red carpet is August 25th. This is really a profound experience for me and for everyone that went there, because this is a $53 million facility. It's up and running. There's I believe there's 22 units already built. We were in one of them. This is generating rental revenue for ResClub investors already, with another 67 being slated to build. We had someone took a reservation on number one of the 67 while we were there when we gave them the tour. And this was amazing because to see, I remember, and here's some of the pictures that we actually walked in these homes, and it was an epiphany, really, because to be, you know, normally when, and a lot of times in business, they're like, well, look at that lot, look at that piece of dirt, Mark. In a year, we're going to have something there. They able to walk in and actually see it up and running, touch and feel from all the way down to the utensils that MyResClub, you know, provides when building out the units. But one of the biggest questions that was asked, and it was from a young lady that was there. She said, "Well, you know, because when you own, you know, you can, let's walk through the process of invest to earn and then invest to own, because, and then I want to talk about what she asked about who manages the property and everything moving forward once it's up and running." So we talked about so the invest to earn is anywhere between 1,000 now and 10,000. I'm sorry, and 50,000. And then once you hit that 50,000, it turns into an invest to own opportunity as well as earn. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, so we have these short-term investment products. They are, you know, they're debt, and they are in increments of 5,000, except for the newest one, it's in increments of 1,000. It's a 12-month, you know, investment that is paid out quarterly, and with the fourth quarter, you'll return the principal plus your fourth quarter dividend. So in some of these projects, now that we're turning kind of pivoting toward our development roots again and starting to build things, I'm starting to acquire bulk units like we did in Lido Coco in Costa Rica. We bought a 15-unit building there. Well, we don't need all of those for members or necessarily. So for us to be able to sell those is a good thing, you know, as a developer. So we, as we're building them, you know, it's always a good thing for the lender to see pre-sale. So you're always looking for an edge on how you get those pre-sales done. I've had quite a habit of having things pretty much sold out before we start, you know, digging in the ground, as we're doing in Heritage Harbor. The purpose of the next piece was that $50,000 threshold was this: if someone wants to buy one of those when they're finished, or if they want to buy one of the platforms, this allows them to get into the same kind of investment, but it also acts as a reservation for them. So for instance, if it's going to take us 12 months to build, or 14 months, whatever that is, then they can reserve at a pre-sale price, which is typically 10 or 15% below what we're going to release them for when we're finished. And they will reserve an actual unit and reserve a price and be paid 15% return on that. We take 45,000 of that, 50,000, and we put it into the investment platform for them, and they're paid that 15% return. And then that's the security side. And then we take 5,000 of that and we hold it in escrow, guaranteeing the reservation agreement. The reservation agreement is non-binding. If they decide at the end of the year they don't want to move forward, they just get that back and the reservation agreement goes away. Same token, if the 45,000 investment ends at the same time. So they can say, you know, maybe I don't want to go forward. Okay, but then it just converts to a net regular short-term investment. If they do want to go forward, they sign a purchase agreement, top it off to 30% and add in that 50,000 that's already in. So everybody wins with that problem.
Right. And so we talked about like that, this property being on the outside of, literally on the outside gates of Disney. We drove past it on the charter bus, and the luxury charter bus that we had, which again, you can also go to MyResClub Instagram or Facebook, and you can fill out the there's an event right up there. First 50 people are welcome at the event August 25th. So the question was asked, so Craig, what happens when I own this? What do I do? Do I have to rent it now? Do I have to put it on Airbnb? Blah, blah, blah. And it was kind of a cute question, but it was really a prudent question because of the way that you answered it. Because
I said you enjoy it, and I wasn't being facetious.
Right.
It is your unit, so we don't control how much you want to use it. When you're not using it, we certainly are going to take good care of you and make sure that the rental company that we have in charge of that whole project takes care of that property. We use some big ones. They cost us some others.
Yeah, and so I asked the question, I kind of piggybacked on the question about, so when you look at the 15 or 18%, or when you get to the ownership, I think it scales down from 10 to 8 based on usage.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on, look, some people want to use their unit 3 months out of the year, and that's okay. You're gonna have a 6-night, 7-day average stay, but we go down to 3 or 4 nights. If we can hold a, 50% to 60% occupancy rate, and you're using it 10 or 20%, that's pretty normal, and you're gonna see anywhere from an 8 to 10% return and all your usage. If you want to use it for a couple of weeks a year and just put it into rental the rest of the year, there are properties doing 20% returns that people put into programs like that. Now there are properties that are also doing 2%, because they have the wrong rental manager, they selected the wrong location, they can't get the average rate per night that they need, they don't have the occupancy they need. A million things can go wrong, all written in. Go read the book. I'm kidding, but I literally spent
Yeah, Craig, you're frozen up there. Mark, can you see him? I can see you. I think he's frozen, right? Yeah, so, yeah, Craig, you froze up there for a minute. So we're talking about, you're talking about the million things that can go wrong, wrong management, wrong location, occupancy.
Part of the reason I wrote both those books was to help people who are buying it. This is the extension of that. This was literally creating a controlled ecosystem where people can enter, they can, get into several different investments, they can get into 10 different investments for $5,000 or 50 at 1,000 at some point. And when they have that in there, if they find a deal that they like and they want to reserve a unit, they can literally aggregate that into that one investment and go from an invest to earn to an invest to own. There's a right of substitution by both parties in these subscription agreements that allows them to that lateral movement. If it's an equal to or better property, we don't want most people moving down the worst properties, and we'd certainly never do that. But
yeah, so and that's the ecosystem that we built here with the ResClub. We can move and kind of pool our money together from different properties into one ownership. And so the question I asked about, well, when we tout a return of say 8% or even the 22% that some of the yields in Costa Rica with, because the ADR is higher, that I said is that minus the management fees and everything. You said that was actually a net payment, a net that was after all.
No, those are when I quote numbers, I'm talking about net.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Fees. I'm talking about after all of everything from the insurance, the utilities, upkeep, rental reserve replacement, all of those pieces that go into that, all of that pulled out of there. That I'm talking about the net.
Yeah, and so one of the things in Wealth is a Vacation, the book that you wrote that's selling on Amazon, a lot of people didn't know this when they came in, but as we're especially tomorrow's leadership call. But I'm not like you, Craig. I can't keep a secret. You're pretty good at it. Your book is now available in the back office. It says Craig's book under the tab for people that are travel affiliates on our sister company. You're not part of the travel affiliate site. You still got to buy it online on Amazon. You get it for free with as a travel affiliate. This book is 280. I think it's 286 pages. It's full of really it's part of the pathway. And the 4 books you've written. This is the one that you chose for us to kind of follow the footprint, if you will, the blueprint. I'm going to do something, Craig, if you don't mind. Offer to open up the Zoom call for questions. And if you have a question for Craig, anything to do with investing, Mark, I'd love to have you ask something because of your background. Just raise your hand, or I'll either raise your hand via the Zoom, or I can unmute you if you just raise your hand, like I can see you. Okay, Mark, here we go. Mark's a good friend of K. Ross. Mark, you were his best man. He was your best man.
Yeah, he was my best man in my wedding. I've known K. Ross for about 30 years.
Great, buddy. What's your background, Mark? I think it's proven for us to know what you do, because the questions that you're going to ask are going to be from a really good place of reference.
So my background is in real estate and finance. I've owned a mortgage company for 30 years. So Craig, I really appreciate this opportunity that you're rolling out. Obviously, the finance side of me has all kinds of questions, very, very skeptical. Appreciate how you addressed it. I mean, you know, really the money that you're raising is representative of a small percentage. Really, when we talk about the blended rate, now that makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. But really, to that same point, and if it's only 20%, I mean, there seems to me, like from a finance standpoint, that there's lots of different ways you can raise that money at much, much less than, because 15 to 18% is really 20 to 23% under your model, right? I mean, when you pay the 5% finder's fee,
Right.
you know, 15 is 20, 18 is 23, right? I mean, there's so many cheaper ways to raise the money. Why would you pay that kind of yield? And I appreciate the fact as an investor, but I mean, it's hard for me to get my arms around.
Well, so as an asset manager of the projects that we're doing, we don't put all of the projects into that program. So we've got, for instance, I've got a 3 hotel project at 600 acres that we're doing with Montage, and that particular project, we're not going to go into project like that that's got $170 million build and raise 20% of it through this venue. Just that doesn't make sense. So we kind of pick and choose the deals that we're doing through this, and we're really leaning more. What we're really trying to get people to is the invest to own piece, because if they're investing in that, I can factor in that additional 15% on that particular home unit for them. Not 15% on the home, but 15% on the 20% of the home, and which ends up being about a 3% increase in the price of the home. And so, and what they're able to do is get about a 15% decrease in the purchase price, because they're buying a pre-sale. That allows me to do 2 things. It allows me to raise money. It allows me to please the lender with a bunch of pre-sales, and it allows me to fulfill that equity piece. And guess what? It allows me to democratize the piece at 15% return that, I grew up in a poor family, walked out. So yeah, part of this is a little Pollyannish in that I like the fact that some of these predatory lenders out there that do that gap lending, bridge lending, aren't the nicest people in the world. And whenever I can find a way to kind of box them out of this and have just regular folks like me, like how I grew up, fulfill that part, we're going to do it. But I get what you're talking about. But company wide, asset base wide, it doesn't make sense to do them all that way. So we do have a blend, and we've got a lender that bridge loans to us at 8 to 10, and so we'll filter some of that in and draw that down a little bit. But any of these deals that we can make some people some money and get them into properties in this ecosystem, we're going to do. Look, we don't have to be pigs. I'm all about driving down cost and driving down debt and interest, but you can only make so much. There's plenty of room in these deals for us to have everybody participate.
Craig, the exciting thing about this is it's travel related, real estate related. Obviously, the yield is significant. Just having seen other opportunities put together, how concerned are you? And I say this in all due respect to everybody on the line, including myself, right? How concerned are you regarding a bunch of mavericks out there guaranteeing 15 to 18%? I can see a lot of undue focus from the wrong entities on your project. Are you concerned about that?
Well, I'm backstopped by the best law firm in Florida. And I've spent the time and the money to make sure that this was all about walking that line. There are 2 sides to this thing. There's the real estate, the vacation rental property side, it's real estate, and then there's the security side. And what was done for all of these years was everybody wanted to provide returns. They wanted to make sure they provided returns to people. they had to kind of dodge the question of how much you're gonna make when you buy one of our vacation homes. And they would do that by, they would actually quote rates in some cases, but then when it came time, they would backdate a lease or something and call it a lease payment, or they were finding any way they could to avoid having it be seen as a security. And we went the other way. We went with, I sat down with Nason Yeager, and their question to me was, if it looks like a security and smells like a security, it's a security. All these people that are doing that, these real estate companies that are selling vacation homes and quoting returns, they're selling the security, and there's going to be hell to pay someday, when they sell enough of them. So why don't you instead just make your product a security? Why don't you just make it a security based product, and your company a financial products company, but that is secured by real estate? And so that's how we have approached everything. So am I worried about it? Coming out of this, please come and talk to our law firm, look at our subscription documents, look at our PPOs. We don't have to be in the Edgar database. We don't have to be with Reg D. We do not have to be registered Blue Sky in any state. But are we? Yeah. We're getting registered state by state, and we're already registered in Florida and a couple other. You can go to the Edgar database and see us there. That's because we plan to be here for a long time. And so, we're going to move into Reg A. We're going to, flesh this out. We're going to get a lot more flexibility. The one product that everybody seems to think is the big runner is our reservation agreement that yields a return. So, to get there, you got to get to the $50,000 level. That's fun, and we'll find ways within our system to get people to $50,000.
Got it. Thank you, Greg.
Mark, thank you for asking those tough questions, and those are great questions because you're who you are in your world, and certainly do appreciate your candor, and Craig, thank you for answering that.
We're very, very public. We don't hide documents. We don't, I got everybody see it. So because we've spent the money and the time and effort to make sure that they're robust.
Any other questions out there in ResClub land? Well, I will tell you this. I'm sorry, I got Debbie Gold. Mark, thank you, buddy. I'm gonna go up to Debbie Gold. Debbie, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. I've got a quick, probably real simple question. So under, when you're below the 50,000 threshold, is that reported like on a 1099 interest INT statement? And then above that, is it considered a K1?
And that's regular income. But I would check with we're not supposed to say anything when these questions are asked, but I would,
okay.
It's handled as regular income for me, but I would definitely ask your tax accountant how best he's gonna handle it.
Okay, as far as the form.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's interest paid on a debt, on a loan.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And then at 50,000, does it become a real estate investment?
Yeah, that's the thing. See, once you at 50,000, you have 45,000 that goes into that same debt for a year. Right. You have 5,000 that's held in escrow. It's nothing. There's nothing paid on. It's like a regular reservation. So then when you decide to purchase, those two are released and they drop into it as an investment into real estate.
Okay. All right. That helps me a lot.
Debbie,
yes.
Real quick, PJ here. Thanks for that question. What's your background? You seem well versed in what's those questions that you're asking.
Well, I'm in financial services, so I know enough to be dangerous.
You are dangerous, Debbie Gold. With that last name, you are dangerous.
Well, it makes sense. Well, it's going to be important how it's reported, because a K1 for some people is going to be a big household depending on where their income is. So
we have people doing self-directed IRAs into it because there's no usage fees. They can't do our membership, so they do these short-term investments. We've got a lot of people. We got people doing doing exchanges because they need to hold the money into something for a year.
okay.
This debt instrument that we've created does a lot of really cool things.
It's fascinating.
Well, Debbie, thanks to you. We're gonna go to Dr. Brooks. Dr. Brooks, unmute yourself, please. Dr. Brooks. Oh, sorry, Dr. Brooks. Unmute yourself, please.
I'm on mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hey, actually, it's Malcolm here, Dr. Alexander.
Hey, Malcolm, how are you?
What's going on? What's going on, Craig? I got a few questions today in reference to I heard PJ say in one of the calls, once you buy it, you buy it. It's there. Well, what do you do next? Well, a lot of people was asking me, well, how long can I stay there? How long can I be there? How is it going to work as far as you guys renting it out or maintaining it? How do you keep that balance between, because if somebody's staying there and they tear up their own place, then who fixes it? Like, how are you working that balance between somebody owning it, using it for themselves, and then you guys coming in and renting it on a specific period of time, so on and so forth? That kind of makes sense.
Well, so we use a third-party vacation rental management company, typically somebody like Vacasa, they have a foot in both hospitality and in vacation rental home management. So they're pretty knowledgeable about and it's not normally the people who own the place that trash it, it's some of the renters that trash the place. But we do things like, if anybody noticed the furniture and the other pieces and the things in that unit, there's a difference between the furniture you buy for your home and the furniture you put into a vacation rental home. There's a durability factor. There's a cleaning protocol that needs to be done. And like I said, when we put together the financial model of a vacation rental home, one of the things we should factor in there is a reserve for replacement, and it's just for that. It's like a little savings account that they cost or what managing holds aside the rental money, so that you don't get a surprise call saying, someone just threw a chair through your front picture window. We got to go spend $1,000 and send it to us. That's all going to be in that reserve for replacement. Or even when years build up, these guys know exactly when your water heater's going to be looking at needing to be changed or repaired. They know, there's a time frame in hospitality. There is a time frame and a formula for literally every stick of furniture and every part of FF&E, which is furniture, fixture, and equipment, inside a room or inside a vacation rental. Every single piece in there, and so they all have a lifespan, and there's a certain percentage statistically that will be trashed. And so all of that's factored into the amount of fee they charge you, anywhere from 18 to 30% is what typical rental management will charge out of what they book. But literally, it's key in hand. You tell them I want to stay there 3 months, you tell them I want to stay there 3 days. It doesn't matter to them. They're just going to rent it out the rest of the time. They've got the ability, they've also developed a very good ability to vet renters. So there are big deposits that they have to put down. They require everybody to give their full names and ages of every person who's going to stay in that house at night. There's all kinds of restrictions that they put on it. This is the kind of thing that if someone bought a vacation rental home and just said, I'm just going to buy one and do it myself. Sounds easy, right? Little do you know that you're having a new tenant in there every 4 to 6 days. It's not a house out for a year. And if your cleaning crew doesn't show up, guess what you are? You're the cleaning crew. And so if you want to get into that business, I write about this in my book. If you want to DIY the vacation rental home business, it can be nightmarish. What we do is, and within our ecosystem, we take all that away. We make sure that the thing is run. All you do is let the vacation manager know when you want to stay the next year. And other than that, everything's handled itself. You just get a check. So when we quote numbers, we quote them based upon the financial runs that someone like Vacasa has done. And I have some of those I can share with you. It really shows what you'll make: 10%, 20%, 30%, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% occupancy. And it'll show what the expected APR is.
Malcolm, anything else? Oh. Malcolm, anything else?
No, that's good for now. Appreciate it.
Buddy, thank you so much. Great job on your first sign up today, buddy. All right, anyone else, as we approach the top of the hour here, any questions, please just feel free to raise your hand via Zoom, or I will kind of look at the other pictures. Well, Craig, I can tell you that every time we get a chance to hear from you, it's just you learn something new every day. I'm getting text messages about how great you are, and especially for the people that met you over the weekend. Again, tomorrow we will have a leadership call. I'll send the information out. Leadership call at 1 o'clock. It's gonna blow your way. Craig, just amazing to deliver something that was supposed to be done in 4 months. The ability for the threshold to be lowered from a minimum of 5,000 to 1,000. It's just a true testament to your game plan. That you're not a five-year plan guy. You want to get things done today and attack. And you taught us this weekend about forget what your why. Like what makes you angry. Like what makes you angry. Like you got to get angry to be productive in a positive way. So, folks, you heard here from Craig Williamson, our founder. This is an amazing opportunity on the investment side alone. I love what K. Ross said one night. He said, "There's nowhere on the planet that you can get a 15 to 18% return on your money." Do the due diligence on our company. Please Google Craig. Google Alfie Best, Google MyResClub, and we certainly do appreciate the turnout tonight. We broke a record. We're so excited about what we're doing here today. More importantly, what we're doing tomorrow and the global aspirations we have as a company on both ends. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much, Craig. Thank you, and we will see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Spread the word. I'll send out the recording, this link of tonight's call. Get it to as many people that want to be involved on the investment side. And so, for Craig Williamson, PJ Jensen, signing off. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a good evening.
Excellent. I'm not even going to try to go over anything extra what they just went over. They went over enough. When you got the big dogs talking, nobody needs to talk. You see it right there. It's in your back office. Hope you like the video. Like and share, join, and then share with others. And it's opportunity to get into real estate with as little as $1,000 and really be a part of the ownership of something. It's your boy Terrence Gibson saying like, subscribe, rock that bell, join our team, do your homework. Like they said, they told you to Google, and join. God bless.